Hello, mathematicians. Today's lesson is called Adding and Subtracting Fractions and Mixed Numbers. So we're going to get right into our first example. So when we add two fractions like this, 2/3 plus 1/4, we need to find a common denominator. We can't add two fractions that have different bottom numbers. So the easiest way to find that common denominator is to simply multiply the denominators that you currently have. So 3 times 4 is 12. So underneath these fractions, I'm going to change their denominators to 12. Just like that. And then I'll bring the plus sign down in between. Now what I'm really looking for is the new numerator. When you make equivalent fractions and you change the denominator, you also have to change the numerator. And we want to think about multiplying. So we're going to ask ourselves this question. How do we grow a 3 to a 12? What do we multiply by? Well, I hope you're thinking 4. And if we multiply the bottom by 4, we have to multiply the top by 4. We learned that when we learned equivalent fractions. Now 2 times 4 is 8. So 2/3 grown up to an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 12 will be 8/12. Now let's do the same thing with 1/4. To grow a 4 on up to a 12, what do we multiply it by? 3. But we have to make sure we keep balance and do it to the top. 1 times 3 is 3. 1/4 is the same as 3/12. Equivalent fractions. Now that we have a common denominator, we can add 8/12 plus 3/12. 8 plus 3 is 11. And we keep that common denominator. So we'll go with a final answer of 11/12. It's just that easy to add two fractions. But let's try another one. This time we'll subtract. Subtraction is the same as addition. The very last step, though, we will subtract instead of add. Okay, 5/8 minus 1/3. Clearly, we don't have a common denominator. Let's make one. 8 times 3 is 24. Put the minus in between. So this fraction is becoming a new and improved fraction with a denominator of 24, and so is this one. Now we have to fix the numerators. Put little boxes here to indicate that this is really important right here. Okay, so how do we grow an 8 to a 24? Well, we multiply by 3. And 5 times 3 is 15. How do we grow a 3 up to a 24? Well, we multiply by 8. And 1 times 8 is 8. So 15/24 minus 8/24 is going to give us 7/24. And that'll be the final answer. I can't reduce that. It's not improper. So we'll just take that proper fraction as being fully simplified. Okay, we have one last problem we're going to try. I wanted to bring in mixed numbers. So how do you deal with adding two mixed numbers? Well, there's just one additional step you have to go through, and that is to make these improper before you begin. So let's start by multiplying 2 times 2, which is 4, plus 1 is 5. So we'll start by writing 2 1/2 as 5/2. Plus, do the same thing over here. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So we'll call this 6/5. Now we're ready to find our common denominator. 2 times 5 is 10. So we'll have a 10 here and a 10 here. And now we ask ourselves, Oops, I forgot my one arrow here. Just kind of like to keep it consistent. So now we're going to ask ourselves, how do we grow a 2 to a 10? Well, we're going to multiply by 5. And 5 times 5 is 25. And how do we grow a 5 to a 10? Well, we're going to multiply by 2. And 6 times 2, 12. So now we have 25 over 10 plus 12 over 10. If we add 25 and 12, we're going to get 37 over 10, which is clearly an improper fraction. We don't want to leave our answer like that. So let's come off to the side, or you can do it in your head. Some of you are getting really good at that. So 10 does not fit into 3, but it does fit into 37 3 times. 3 times 10 is 30. And we subtract and we get 7. So I'm going to go with a final answer of 3 7/10. Wonderful. Okay, so that's how you add and subtract fractions when they have unlike denominators. Thanks for watching, and happy trails to you.